Do you want to manifest money, a relationship, more sales, or the perfect plan? Listen, you may have tried to manifest things in the past. Maybe you read a book or you watched a YouTube video, and maybe nothing seems to work. Now, the challenge here is that there's more to manifesting your dreams than reading a book or simply watching a video. The reason is that this takes work. It takes intentionality. It takes a commitment to harnessing the power of the law of attraction so it works in your favor instead of against you. So watch this video today. I'm going to share with you my powerful and proven 5-step process for quick and easy manifestations.
My name is Kevin Yoder, mindset coach and creator of the Inner Game of Achievement. I help people improve their patterns of thought so that they can terminate those limiting beliefs, boost their confidence, and accomplish their most inspiring goals for life and business.
Okay, before I give you the steps, let me tell you about this building that I'm in. Right around 2020, I started to notice this big brown brick building. I'll walk you outside a second. It's raining outside, but let me see if I can show you a glimpse of it because I'm in the back. Oh, rain's coming down. So this is the back side of the building. Okay, that's as much as right now. I wanted the building, and I was having a lunch across the street right before the pandemic, and we had been renting down the street for 7 years, and we were paying high rent. And something about this building stood out to me. So I said to my wife at lunch, I said, I'm going to go across the street and let the owner know I'm going to buy her building. She said, you're crazy. Do you know who the owner is? I said, well, a little bit, but I'm just going to go over there and let her know that. She said, okay, whatever, crazy man. So I went across the street, left my business card. She wasn't in that day. And then from that moment on, I said, please have her call me. I said a very clear intention. I knew I would have this building. So back and forth. She wanted to sell me the real estate franchise and the building combined. And I said I wasn't interested in the franchise, but I was interested in the real estate, in the building. It's a beautiful big brick, about 7,000 square feet. It's no more than a mile from my home right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I can walk to the office. It's the perfect location for me. Something resonated with me about this place, and I knew I needed and wanted to make it mine. I also knew that it would happen. So back and forth, and here's the thing about this, and I'll share with you in the 5 steps. I never had a moment of doubt in my mind that I would be the owner of this building, not one time, and that's an important part of the process. So back and forth, and she actually said she sold it. She sold the building, and she actually sold her franchise, and so she didn't need me to buy the building or the franchise. And even when she told me that, even in the face of that, I'll say adversity, but acknowledgement that this was sold, I still somehow knew that it wasn't. And I don't know how to explain that to you, but to let you know that I still had that belief that I would be the owner of this building. She called me a few weeks later and asked me if I still wanted to buy the building. I said, of course I would. And here we are 3 years later. And so that's a kind of a bigger example, and it doesn't need to be something like buying a $1 million building. It could be something small. It could be a shirt, or it could be an item online. It could be anything that you really want. So what we're doing here is we're harnessing the power of the law of attraction. And by the way, the law of attraction, LOA, gets a lot of confusion around it. Let me just distill this thing down in the easiest way I can. What I've found that the law of attraction is, it's a clear intention, and we're using both science and psychology here. We're also using the spiritual side, meaning when you ask and you're clear and you are connecting with your spiritual side, it's basically the scientific form of prayer. There's also something in your brain called the reticular activating system. And so when you can enact that part of your brain, which then stands up on the ready looking for, sifting and sorting through your environment, and will begin to attract to you the very things you're looking for. So there's the science part of it. Then the subconscious mind is going to also help bring this to you. Okay, here are the 5 steps. 5 steps are know, so knowing what you want. Second step is asking. Next is it is given, then finally allow and receive. So let's start off with the first part, that is knowing. And how do you know what you want? Well, it's appreciating what we call contrast. And so rather than walking around being angry with the things that are in front of you that you don't want, instead of that, look at it more like a buffet. So life is a buffet of things that we get to sift and sort through. That's called contrast. Contrast is identifying what we don't want. So imagine going to the buffet table and saying there's a bunch of food here and I only want those 2 items, unless you're the sort of person that likes to eat it all. Let's pretend like you're not that type of person. But you're not mad at the mashed potatoes. You're simply acknowledging that the mashed potatoes are there and you're moving on to the chicken. You see that? There's a lot of ways we can describe this, but sifting and sorting through the contrast of life. So sifting and sorting through contrast. You don't like this particular thing. You don't really admire a certain attribute about a person, or you don't want to be with that sort of person that has those attributes. But what do you like? You like the opposite of that. So being grateful for the variety of life and then focusing on what it is that you want. So it gives us clarity. Contrast gives us clarity. So know what you want by knowing what you don't want. The second step is asking. And how do you ask? I like to say that you think one with God. You think in conscious unity with Spirit. You're one. You're higher power. You're not separate. And the other part about this is being grateful. So when you ask, be grateful for the manifestation before it comes. And you ask in a way that it's already done. It's already done. So you're asking from a grateful heart. You're grateful for what you have now, and you're acknowledging that. And you're one with God in spirit. That's the asking part. And you can just ask in that way, knowing that it's already done. The next one is given. Given. It's already given. So when you ask, it is already given. And so when you recognize that what you want is instantly here, that's the it's given part. It's done. It's done in the spiritual plane. So don't dig up the seeds in the garden of your mind. If you were to plant a garden, so when I plant those seeds in my garden, I'm not going to walk away and then turn around, and because those tomatoes haven't bloomed yet, I'm not going to start digging up those seeds. So remember that there's a gestation period associated with everything. We don't want instant manifestations. Why is that? Because if I wanted an instant manifestation, then a Lamborghini would fall from the sky, right? And it wouldn't be any fun that way. This is all about getting our hands in the clay and experiencing life and experiencing what it's like to ask for something, knowing it is given. It's not going to happen like that, but guess what? It can happen rather quickly. It can happen faster than you think. So it is given. Don't dig up those seeds while they're in the gestation process. Number 4 is to allow. To allow. Now you have to accept the idea that this is on its way. Allowing is understanding that there is no distance, there's no time or space with omnipresence. God, Spirit, whatever you believe in, there's no acknowledgement of time or space, so something can come our way quickly. And the only reason why it doesn't is because we lack a belief in that. You see that? So you have to remain in vibrational harmony with that which you desire. If you truly believe, then you would have faith and you wouldn't be frustrated. You wouldn't be frustrated about happening if you believe, right? If it's already done, then it's already done. So by virtue of that understanding, you're not going to be frustrated. It removes the frustration, And also remember, too, that the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence, meaning just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not on its way. It's on its way. It's in the spiritual plane and it's coming to you. Let me share this one last piece with you. It's called dig your ditches. Dig your ditches means do the thing now that you would do if you had the thing. Let me give you an example. I'm in Toastmasters, so I'm a part of a Toastmasters club, and we had the speech contest in 2020, so right before the pandemic. So you go at the local level, then you go to the districts and regional, then you move on to, finally, the World Championship of Public Speaking. So that was my goal, and I set a very clear intention that I would be on that stage in Paris, France in July of 2020. One at the local level. As soon as I did that, I actually booked the ticket to the resort that the event was going to be in. It was overlooking the Eiffel Tower. I booked my flights as well. And everyone said to me, "Why are you doing that? Why are you booking flights for something that you haven't won yet?" I said, "Why would I not? Why would I not do that? I'm going to be there, and when I win the contest, you see, I need a place to sleep." So I went ahead and booked those things, and I got to tell you something. Something happens with you psychologically when you go ahead and dig your ditches in advance. You prepare for that. Do the thing that you would do if you knew for sure that this is going to happen. Everything shifts in that moment. I have a guy on my real estate team who wanted to lock in a goal. He wanted to actually accomplish his sales goals this year, and he was having a hard time coming up with something that would have him stay consistent with the plan. Stay consistent with making the calls every single day. I said, "What's your goal, man?" And he told me it was like he wanted to get some jet skis or something like that. And I said, "Look, it's not enough. It's not enough, and here's why. Because you will rationalize that. In other words, if you don't get the jet skis, it doesn't matter, right? Are you going to live another day?" Yeah, he acknowledged yes. I said, "I got something for you. You got 2 little girls at home. I said, go home tonight and tell them you're going to take them to Disney by November of this year. You got about 7 or 8 months. And I said, you're going to bring them at the resort. You're going to pay for the nicest hotel. You're going to fly them down there. You're going to spend 3 or 4 days with your beautiful daughters. And you're going to promise them that that's going to happen. You got that? And he said, wow. He goes, that's big. He said, that's scary. I said, exactly right. Now go home and do it. He did it. And I got to tell you something. Something shifted in him because he's digging his ditches. He's acting like the person. He booked the flight. He booked the room. And now he's showing up every day like the sort of person that would pay for a very expensive trip for his children. It's kind of like that. And then finally, receive. That's the last step. That's the 5th step. Receive. The receiving mode is being on the lookout for your manifestation. Being easy about it. Knowing that it's on its way. Being grateful before it comes. And here's the thing about that, about the receiving mode. Don't discount breadcrumbs. What that means is that, let's say you're going for $100,000. What if you get a check for $10,000 that you weren't expecting? Is that a sign? You see, we don't know the ways of the universe. We don't know all the ways of the universe. We know that God works in mysterious ways. So I look at those things as breadcrumbs. It's happened hundreds of times where I've asked for something specific and then there's a breadcrumb laying out before me. And then based on that, I know I'm on the right path. I know I'm on the right path. I pick up the breadcrumb. I say, thank you. Now I know. You see that? It's a sign. It's a sign that you're on your way. A little bit of money is an indicator. It could be a penny on the ground. It's an indicator that you're on the right path. So be grateful for that. By the way, when you finally do get the thing that you're going after, the person, the money, the opportunity, the sale, be grateful, but don't be ecstatic. Why is that? Well, because if you understand that ask it is given, that it's already given, you shouldn't be surprised that you're going to get the thing. You should be grateful, but don't be ecstatic, because your state of being ecstatic is an indication that you really didn't believe was going to happen. These 5 steps work, my friends. If you want to learn more about the manifestation process that I just walked you through, this is something I share with my coaching clients. This is what we go deep on, and we actually go deeper into the science and psychology of manifestation, how to get what we want in life. Because after all, isn't that what we're up to here? Isn't that a part of the journey, is identifying what we want? But most people are challenged with that because they're not asking intelligently, and they're certainly not allowing. They're getting all bound up somewhere in the middle with that frustration piece. And I can tell you, this stuff works if you follow the process. If you want to learn more how to manifest your goals and dreams, whether it's a button or a castle, doesn't matter. There's no time, there's no space, there's no distance in the universe. It's all available to us, but you have to be intentional about it, and you have to actually work the process and go easy at the same time. Click the link below if you want to grab a coaching call with me, and I'll teach you how to manifest anything you want in your life now and for the rest of your life.